观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看《洋厨房》，我是刘烨。世界美味与你共尝。如果醒来的时候能够吃到一份营养又美味的早餐，那一整天都是活力满满。而对于上班族来说早餐吃什么一直都是头疼的事儿。那今天的卖家秀就要为大家来介绍连吃3天都不会腻的早餐究竟是什么呢？赶紧来看一下。
Kei tēnei hōtaka. Boil up dumplings. My twist on a Māori fave.
Those are damn good if I do say so myself.
Crispy orange chicken that the whole whānau can enjoy. Pork loin and grilled apple. Ka hore he mea I tū atu. Hei haka miharo I o manuhiri. Hei haka mutu ake he pūrenia tāhua rawa atu me te māmā hoki. Tropical coconut caramel tapioca. So in my whare, we don't have Sunday roast. We have Sunday boil-ups, and boy do I look forward to those. So if you so happen to have anything left over, this is a great twist on a classic fave. I'm going to create boil-up dumplings. We're going to start by preparing the pork belly. And the reason why we have pork belly in this dumpling mix is purely because it adds fat content. Not only that, pork, bones, bacon, bones are all ingredients that you have in any boil-up. So I'm just going to remove the rind. It is a little bit tough, and because it's going into the dumpling mix raw, we want to make sure that we're able to cook it through because they're only going to steam for a little bit. I normally just cut a slice off. Cut it down again, and I'm just going to do little pieces. If you've got a NutriBullet or a Blitzer, chuck it in there. It's a lot faster, it's a lot easier, but we're going to go old school way and do it with a knife. So now I'm going to cut up the spring onion, get it ready for the mixture. You want these to be nice and fine as well. Just adds more flavour. Grate some ginger. And now we're going to get our boil up. Alrighty. So this boil up is obviously leftovers, so it's not hot, it's cold, which is what you want, because what we're going to do is pull all the meat off the bone, and we're also going to break up the watercress. Now, you can definitely use puha. It is not limited to watercress. You can use any green, silver beet, spinach, anything that you put in. But for me, it's either watercress or puha. Make sure your leftovers have been covered and chilling in the fridge before use. Continue pulling the meat off the bones until you have enough for your dumplings. But you don't want it too fine that you can't taste the bacon. You want to know that you've got a boil up going on in your mouth. So I'm going to do the same with the watercress, nice and simple. Just going to grab it and just break it, pull it apart. And because it's leftovers, it's so soft and it's not so stringy. So the juice from the boil up as well has gone into this. It keeps it nice and moist. So into this mixture, I'm going to add some ginger, garlic. We're going to add our pork belly meat. We have some sesame seed oil. You need to be careful with your liquids. You don't want to add too much that it becomes soggy and yuck because it won't cook through. We have some rice wine vinegar, soya sauce, a dash of sugar, an egg, a little bit of spring onion, and we're just going to combine that all together. That sesame seed oil is so strong. Love it. A little bit of salt and pepper. So I'm going to clean up my bench and I'm going to take you through the steps of making the most perfect boil-up dumplings. All right, so now we're going to get into wrapping these dumplings. Look, and I know a lot of people, they get all funny about it, but it really is easy. All of my whānau that are beautiful weavers and do raranga, you'd be fantastic at wrapping dumplings. Quite simple. Wet the edges of your wrapper. We're going to add our filling. And simple, you're going to fold it in half. You're going to squeeze out all that air. Squeeze it out. You're going to fold it in half and pinch the bottoms. One done. There are other ways that you can do these. I mean, today we're going to be putting it into a broth, but I mean, you can pan fry them, you can just steam them normally. There's even other shapes that you can make. It's up to you, whatever's easiest and what gets the mahi done. So those are done. We're now going to move over to the stove and get cooking.
Strain the remaining juice from your leftover boil up to create the perfect broth.
We're just going to bring that to the boil. Now while that's going, we're going to turn our stove on, heat some oil up and fry these dumplings just to get a little bit of colour on them. Just a little bit of oil. We want to get it nice and hot so that it's sizzling when they hit that oil. So we're just going to add the dumplings to our beautiful hot oil. And like I said, we're only going for a little bit of colour, so they don't need to be in there for very long.
Browning them off is purely for presentation. Because they will sit in a cloudy broth, we want the dumplings to stand out on the plate.
All right, so those dumplings are beautiful and brown. They've got some good colour. Just going to turn the heat down slightly because this broth is ready. All right, and we're just going to slowly add this into the frying pan. Now, you may get some splatters, so please be careful. So once that's done, put a lid on it and allow it to steam to help cook them through.
We want the fat of the pork belly to cook through with the flavours in our stock.
So our dumplings are ready. They've been cooking off for about 5 to 10 minutes and we're ready to plate. So we're going to start by adding some fresh watercress into our bowls.
Purely for presentation.
Let's give it a bit of height, a bit of colour. Add our dumplings. Right, we're going to add some broth.
A cloudy stock or broth is usually not what you would see with a dish like this. A broth becomes cloudy when fat emulsifies into the liquid, which is exactly what happens when you cook a boiler.
We're going to add a little bit of bacon bone, just in case there's not enough meat. And there you have it, my twist on a classic fave, boil-up dumpling.
Those are damn good if I do say so myself.
Beautiful flavours coming through. The ginger, the garlic, the soya sauce, the pork belly, moist, boil up. 2 thumbs up.
E haere ake nei. Hei hei me te ārani, hoaka me te āporo, ka mutu ake ki tētahi puruni hei kai mā te mata, me te arero.
A lot of people love deep fried chicken. This is a quick and easy recipe that you will take to your next whānau gathering and it will be the most outstanding dish. Orange chicken.
Te maha hoki o ngā tāwara o roto I tēnei. Engari, kaua e māharahara, he māma, he reka rawa atu.
We're going to start by making the batter. This is a simple batter. We're going to get straight into it. Add flour. Cornstarch. Just give that a little bit of whisk, just to combine that together. We're going to go in with 1 egg, some oil, and lastly, some water. I'm going to bring that all together. My poi arms getting a good workout. You would think I'd be fit having a poi arm, but gosh, this is a big workout. All right, we can set this aside. We're going to chop up our chicken thighs, add that to the batter and get ready to deep fry. When cutting your chicken thigh, you want your pieces to be about 1-inch cubes, and that should be perfect because every mouthful should be the right bite size. This portion of pie would feed a good whānau, 2 adults, 2 children. You could also serve this on top of rice just to make it go a little bit further. So then maybe 6 people, but it really just depends how hungry you are. I know for myself, I could definitely scoff half of this. We're going to cover this, chill it, and we're going to get ready to make our sauce. In the fridge it goes. So our chicken's been chilling for about 10 to 15 minutes. My pan and my oil have been heating up, so we're ready to deep fry these. You want to try and get as many as you can in one hit, but not so much that it's crowded. So also when you're deep frying chicken, it's really, really important that you're able to cook the chicken all the way through. So you're looking for about anywhere between 6 to 8 minutes each side, flipping it, and then because they're small bite sizes, they will be perfectly cooked. You want to get it to a medium shade, because what will happen is when you remove it from the heat, it will continue to keep cooking and it goes a shade darker. These look about ready. Okay, we're going to get into making this delicious, delicious sauce. It's really easy, just a few quick, simple steps and ingredients to add. So we're going to go in with our oil. So into that, we're going to add ginger, some garlic, some chili flakes. Love my chili flakes. Brown sugar. This is going to help with the caramelization of that sauce. Some white sugar. Salt and pepper. Give that a bit of a stir. We're going to add white vinegar, and the white vinegar provides the acidity to this particular dish. And also, the star of the dish, orange juice, and this will bring the citrus zesty flavour. And soya sauce. And whilst that's simmering, I'm going to mix some cornstarch into some water. And this is going to help with the thickening process. Allow this to thicken beautifully. Tapioca. Beautiful and sweet. We are almost there. Like I said, this does not take very long at all. Once you add that cornstarch, it will really start to thicken up, and that caramelisation has already begun. That seems about ready to me. I'm now going to add our beautiful crispy chicken nuggets. So my last little tip, before you serve this up, we're just going to tip some sesame seed oil. What this does, it adds a beautiful shiny glaze to your chicken and also just gives it that little extra bit of flavour.
Hakara kei tia me ngā kākano sesame, te karoti, me ngā spring onions.
Let's see how it tastes. Chicken is so moist, and wow, it's definitely got a punch and some flavour. Well, if you took that to a party, chaya, you'll be the hero of the night. Cheers.
E whai ake nei, a twist on the old school tapioca pudding we all know and love.
Like pawas and cream, bread and butter, salt and pepper, I'm going to be combining pork and apple. I'm going to show you how to make the most juiciest, succulent pork. Mixing it up with apple, creating a beautiful jus. This is definitely a winner.
This dish is perfect for impressing your guests and treating your whānau. Not too many ingredients keeps this dish simple and easy.
Quick and easy is what I'm all about. We're going to start by getting some potatoes ready. We're going to bake them before we start searing off our pork. Got some beautiful agria potatoes. The best thing about these loin is that they hold in all the flavour, they don't release too much moisture, and they're so beautiful to bake. They come out crispy and perfect every time. Nice and simple. We're just going to cut them in half. Add them to our dish. Always season and season well. Bit of salt, bit of pepper, a good drizzling of some oil. You want that crunch. The oven is preheated on a nice low heat. We're going to chuck them in there to crispy up. So what we're going to do now is prepare our apples. Nice and easy, we're just going to cut them into segments. It really is a no-fuss dish. You just kind of chuck it all together. Just going to take out the seeds. This is the easiest method for me. No mucking around. So you can use any type of apple. I mean, I know there's Jazz apples, there's Braeburn, there's Pacific Rose. Any apple's fine. I particularly like to go for red apples when I'm cooking it with meat and save the greens for dessert. So that's done. We're going to head over to the stove and start searing off our pork. Element is on. We're going to add some oil, get it nice and hot. Searing basically just means browning your meat, and that's all we want here. So I'm going to season it, bit of salt and pepper. Give that oil just a little bit of time to heat up. Shouldn't take too long. Should give it a try. That's exactly what we want to hear. Season side down. Just going to season this side. And while that pork's in there, I'm also going to add my apple. This is the base of our jus. All the juices are going to release. It's going to create a beautiful, sugary type of sauce. Couple of minutes on each side, it should be good to go. It's good, got some good colour. A little bit longer on that, then I'm going to sear off just this little bit of hinu on the side. Then it's going to go into the oven. This process is also what we call rendering the fat. So it's just getting a nice crispiness on that fat, so when you bite into it, you're not just tasting a whole mouthful of uncooked fat. This gives it a nice crispiness, helps to release flavours, and it also releases flavours into the bottom of your pan to create your jus. All right, that seems about ready. Going to pop that into the oven and let that bake off for about 15 minutes.
Kua te kaumeneti te miti e tunu ana I te umu. Let's pull it out and see how it's looking.
It is exactly where I need it to be. So we're going to allow this to rest, place it on a board, and get ready to cook our beautiful jus. All right, nice and simple. We're going to get this element hot all over again. Please be careful, the handle is very hot. All the pork flavour, the fat, the juices from the apple are all at the bottom of this pan. That's where all the goodness is. So to that, we're going to add some garlic, some lemon pepper and mustard seeds, a bit of a stir. I've done up some beef stock with a little bit of water.
Any beef stock that you can find at the supermarket will do.
Going to add some thyme. And lastly, some cream. And we're just going to allow that to reduce down to make a beautiful sauce. Ensure you're consistently stirring, because what you don't want is to have this sticking to the bottom of the pan. We're going for a thick sauce. Nothing too runny. So that looks good to me. We're going to plate up. It looks delicious. Wow, how amazing does that look? I'm ready to get into this, get stuck into it and taste that juicy, beautiful pork. With a dish like this, you have to get every component one mouthful. It may not look pretty, but I can tell you it's going to taste great. The pork is so juicy and the apple's extremely sweet and it's delicious. Beautiful crunchy potatoes. You've just got to smother it with that jus. It's the only way to eat it.
Here ka hoki. Now, let's finish off with a simple dessert.
I grew up eating tapioca. My mum made it for me all the time. Although I do have a memory of my brother Dan telling me that I was eating frog's eggs, and it put me off. Nevertheless, I have found my passion and my love again for tapioca. So I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to turn this into an amazing dish.
Tropical coconut caramel tapioca. He mama te tohutaka nei. Ka mutu I ngā te reka.
So to start off, you add your tapioca to water and you boil for at least 10 to 15 minutes. You want it to become partially translucent, but you also want to be able to see a little bit of the white. Now that's what we call the snake eyes. So to this mixture, I'm going to add coconut cream and caramel. Yum. This is a great dish to put together when you're busy because everything just gets put in. You can either refrigerate it or you can eat it straight away. I'm going to add a little bit of food colouring just to give it some colour. Not too much though. You can always add more, but you can't take it out. This is how simple it is. That's done, and we're going to start dishing it up. Just going to cut through this mango. We're going to add slices to our dish. Mascarpone is really thick, so we're going to thin it down with a little bit of cream and sweeten it with some icing sugar. And now that that's done, we're going to put everything together. If you know how to trifle, you know how to tapioca. This mango is going to add some beautiful zestiness to this particular pudding. It also helps to cut through that cream. It's going to be so good. All right, it's plenty. Going in with the mascarpone. We're going to go in with some blueberries and raspberries.
To add more colour to this vibrant dessert.
We're going to add some pineapple for sweetness. Grate some chocolate. And to finish off, we're going to add a touch of mint. Te tāhua hoki, tapioca with a twist. This is a great end to anybody's day. One for me now and one for later. The fruit helps to cut through that cream, the coconut cream, the mascarpone. The mango's so delicious. That texture of that tapioca is divine. Honestly, this is so good, you won't even want to share it. Kei te huro taku waha.
And if you're lucky and you do have leftovers, make sure you cover and pop them into the fridge.
好，今天的节目呢就到这里了，感谢您的收看，下周同一时间我们不见不散。